Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, as the city comes to terms with what Brexit may mean for global business, the head of Lloyd's of London, one of the oldest and most respected institutions in the square mile, has told Channel 4 News that she's not prepared to wait and see how the political dice fall. Inga Beale of Lloyd's of London says she's already starting to implement her plan to keep access to the European market. Our business editor Siobhan Kennedy reports on a mounting sense of impatience and anxiety in the city.
Lloyd's of London, they know a thing or two about risk. As one of the world's largest insurers, they underwrite more than £26 billion worth of contracts. Predicting outcomes is their business. But when it comes to Brexit, even they admit they were taken by surprise. Lloyd's of London is symbolic of the city's dominance of financial services. 34,000 insurers and brokers sit right here in the heart of the city, but they trade globally. Now the boss here tells me she's worried about the implications of Brexit, and she fears that politicians aren't taking those risks seriously enough.
Quite honestly, businesses can't wait around. The uncertainty is painful. It's painful for everyone, individuals and businesses. Things have to move on. We can't sit around not knowing what the future is going to be. Generally people don't like that in their own lives, and businesses certainly like as much certainty as possible.
She's putting a brave face on it, but uncertainty is taking its toll. New construction figures show the sector contracted in June to the worst level in 7 years, and that was before Britain voted to leave the EU. Post-Brexit, with so many things up in the air, it's only likely to get more precarious. George Osborne tried to steady the nerves, announcing yet another cut in corporation tax today in a bid to attract firms who might now be looking for the exit.
In my view, the strongest signal we could send the world that Britain, after this referendum, is open to the world and ready to do business would be to cut corporation tax still further. We should aim for a rate of 15% and preferably lower.
That's all well and good, but well-established businesses like Lloyd's also want answers. The key question, whether or not they can continue to use so-called passporting for doing business in the EU. Right now, because Lloyd's of London is regulated by UK authorities, it has a passport allowing it to write £800 million worth of insurance across Europe. For a French airport, for example, a German shopping centre or a gas pipeline from Russia. But if it loses that arrangement, Lloyd's faces having to painfully negotiate 27 separate passports with all the countries that remain inside the EU to continue to underwrite business there. But in the absence of concrete decisions, bosses like Inga Beale are negotiating for themselves.
We will do our utmost not to lose it. If we can't get the passporting right, we may have to set up offices, branch offices, and have a network that's much bigger than it currently is throughout the rest of Europe.
Or is that something that you're actively working through those scenarios now?
We've got our plan and we're already starting to implement it. In other words, we're taking action. We're not going to wait.
Like the brokers here, the bosses of Britain's biggest banks will also want more answers when they meet with the Chancellor tomorrow. But he may not have any.
Siobhan Kennedy there. Well, one of the front runners to become the next French president, Alain Juppé, happened to be in London today. He warned that after Brexit, border controls in Calais could be moved back to British soil.
I think we have to review those agreements because as they've been signed 6 years ago, they are not acceptable anymore. It's not acceptable to have in France a border control with people remaining in France. So I am in favor of new discussion about this treaty.